going to do is sharpen the blades on our BX mower deck. And the tractor's got 114 hours on it. I would say 90 to 95 of those hours has been mowing. And you can see you still got a good blade. It's not dinged up. I only got one place on one blade that's got a chunk took out of it, and that's cause some boys left a tow rope out and I mowed over it and the hook dinged it up. But the edge is pretty dull. These are good heavy duty blades and stuff. That's one thing I like about these BXs. They're heavy built mower blades. But we're going to put them in the vise here and take a angle grinder and try to sharpen them up a little bit. When you're doing this with an angle grinder, or any kind of grinder for that matter, you want to do good even strokes and do them the whole length of the cutting edge every time, unless you have a real bad place. But I like to just kind of keep it at that angle and just keep working back and forth the full length of that blade that's cut until I get a edge back on it. You don't want to sharpen it down to a real fine point, because then it'll chip off on you. Alright, now here's our blade after it's been sharpened. You can tell the ends sort of start to roll on them a little bit, which that's common because that's where most of your contact's going to be made, is on the tips of these blades. But I also come in, I don't really sharpen this bottom edge, I just kind of knock a rough edge off of it. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing to the rest of them, and should be good to go. As far as balancing them and stuff, I don't really tend to worry a whole lot about that, because you're pretty well going to grind the same amount if you're careful on both of them, and it won't be enough to get them all out of balance too bad. But if you're really particular, you might want to do that. But we'll test them out and shave Landon's mustache or something with them here in a minute and see how sharp they are. Here's the one that's got the big chunk out of it. What I'll do, I'll not try to cut that whole thing out and grind this way back or nothing. I'll just sharpen it good. It'll end up leaving that gap in it, but I'll sharpen it to everything else good out through there and not try to cut that plumb out of it. Now when you put this back on, make sure you put your blade the correct way, of course, and stack all your washers underneath. And these washers are dished right here. I don't know if y'all can see it. They got a little dish to them. Put the concave part, I guess you'd say, to the top, And that way when that bolt tightens up, it flattens that out, and that sort of acts as a lock washer. But something you gotta be careful about is even though you got a great old big head on these bolts, they are a small bolt and easy to wring off. So you gotta be real careful with them. That right there is something you want to do by hand, because get your washers up in there on the shaft, because this bottom washer has a hex on it that has to line up with the shaft. If you run that up with an impact or something, or a wrench, not paying attention, and it catches under that shaft, it's not going to tighten your blade up. So make sure you get all that run up tight and get it all positioned correctly before you do any tightening on it. I just put my impact on one and run it up there till it acts like it was good and snug, and we'll go back and check it all with the ratchet here when we get done. But we'll get the rest of them took care of here real quick. All right, we got them sharpened. Clayton greased the deck and everything while I was working on sharpening the blades. You got dust on you. What we did, we just drove the front end up on a set of oil change ramps for a car or something, and then on the back end, we took a floor jack, jacked it up, and just put crib blocks under the back end. That way I'd have room to get my impact in there. Some people, I think, take a deck off and try to stand it up to get the blades off and different things. Any of that'll work, but this is our method of doing it, which seems to not be too bad. A little bit hard to get that center one, get back on there. Clayton got out there and held it for me, which I could have slid through from the front and got it myself, but instead of getting back out, he helped me with it, so it ought to mow a little bit better. But we'll catch you on the next one. If you will, please like, subscribe, and comment.